Managing Conflicts of Interest and Power Dynamics. Welcome to this presentation on managing conflicts of interest and power dynamics in organizations. Throughout this session, we will explore how conflicts of interest and power dynamics arise in organizations and discuss the ethical implications associated with them. Using case studies and practical examples, we will look at how to identify, analyze, and manage these issues effectively. By the end of this session, you'll have a clearer understanding of how to handle these challenges and create an ethical, transparent work environment. Objectives of the presentation. By the end of this presentation, you will be able to understand the concept of conflicts of interest and power dynamics in organizations, recognize ethical dilemmas related to conflicts of interest and power imbalances, analyze real-world case studies and identify key decision points and actions, apply ethical frameworks to manage these situations while promoting fairness and transparency in the workplace. Defining conflicts of interest. A conflict of interest occurs when an individual's personal interests or loyalties interfere with their professional responsibilities. Such conflicts can significantly undermine the integrity of decision-making. Types of conflicts of interest include personal conflicts, when relationships or financial interests interfere with objective decisions. Professional conflicts, when one's professional role leads to biased actions or decisions. Organizational conflicts, when personal agendas override the best interests of the organization. For example, if a procurement manager selects a vendor with whom they have a financial stake, it would create a conflict of interest that could compromise fairness and transparency in the process. Identifying conflicts of interest in the workplace. Recognizing conflicts of interest is essential to mitigating their negative impact. Look out for these signs. Undisclosed relationships. Employees or managers may not disclose relationships that could bias their actions. Favoritism, when decisions seem to benefit certain individuals or groups over others. Inconsistent decisions, when decisions appear to be made based on personal gain rather than objective criteria. Organizations can address this by establishing clear policies that require employees to disclose potential conflicts of interest and providing training to identify and manage them. Ethical implications of conflicts of interest. Conflicts of interest can result in biased decision-making. Personal interests overshadow fairness and objectivity. Undermining trust. Employees, stakeholders, and clients lose confidence in the fairness of the organization. Legal repercussions. Conflicts can lead to violations of company policies or even laws, resulting in reputational damage or legal action. For instance, a manager who accepts gifts from a vendor may be biased in the selection process, leading to legal issues and a loss of trust within the organization. Defining power dynamics. Power dynamics refer to the distribution and exercise of power within an organization. Power impacts decision-making, relationships, and organizational culture. Key elements of power dynamics include authority, the formal power individuals or roles hold. Influence, informal power through relationships, expertise, or personal charisma. Access to resources, control over critical resources like information, funding, or opportunities. If not handled well, power imbalances can lead to unethical practices, such as discrimination or exploitation, which harm organizational culture. The impact of power dynamics on decision-making. Power dynamics can affect the decision-making process in several ways. Concentration of power. A few individuals holding most of the power can lead to biased, less inclusive decisions. Suppression of dissent. Employees may fear speaking up against decisions made by powerful figures, leading to poor decision outcomes. Ethical bias. Power holders might prioritize personal interests over organizational well-being. In organizations with imbalanced power, decision-making may not reflect the needs of the whole workforce, which can damage morale and fairness. Case study: conflict of interest in procurement. Scenario: Sarah, a procurement manager, is in charge of selecting a supplier for a significant contract. One of the companies bidding for the contract is owned by her brother. Sarah doesn't disclose this relationship and proceeds to select her brother's company. Options for Sarah: 1. Select her brother's company without disclosing the conflict. 2. disclose the relationship and recuse herself from the decision-making process. Recommended action. The most ethical action is for Sarah to disclose the relationship and step aside from the selection process. This avoids any potential bias and maintains transparency in the procurement process. Case study: power imbalances in team decision-making. Scenario: in a management team, the senior manager, John, consistently overrules the decisions of junior team members, causing frustration and disengagement. Junior team members feel their input is not valued. Options: 1. Continue with the current decision-making structure, where John holds the final authority. 2. Implement a more inclusive decision-making process, where junior team members' views are equally considered. Recommended action: a more inclusive process should be introduced, where every team member's opinion is heard. This fosters better collaboration, improves morale, and ensures diverse perspectives are considered in decision-making. Strategies to manage conflicts of interest. To effectively manage conflicts of interest, establish disclosure policies. Require employees to disclose any potential conflicts, ensuring transparency. Create independent review mechanisms. Use independent review boards or panels to assess decisions involving conflicts of interest. Provide training. Offer training sessions to help employees identify and manage conflicts. By implementing these practices, organizations can prevent the negative consequences of conflicts of interest and foster a culture of integrity. Mitigating power imbalances in organizations. To mitigate power imbalances, consider decentralizing decision-making. Distribute decision-making authority to ensure diverse viewpoints are considered. Encouraging open communication. Promote transparency and encourage employees to voice concerns without fear of retaliation. Providing leadership opportunities. Offer leadership training to employees from diverse backgrounds, helping to balance power within the organization. A more balanced power structure leads to more ethical decision-making and a stronger sense of fairness within the workplace. Case study: gender bias in promotions. Scenario: Maria, a well-qualified employee, is passed over for a promotion in favor of a less qualified male colleague. Maria suspects that gender bias played a role in the decision. Options: 1. Accept the promotion decision without further investigation. 2. Investigate the promotion process for potential gender bias and ensure merit is the deciding factor for future promotions. Recommended action: an investigation into the promotion process should be conducted to ensure fairness. Clear and merit-based criteria should be established for future decisions to promote equality and transparency. Ethical management of conflicts of interest and power dynamics. To manage conflicts of interest and power imbalances ethically, establish comprehensive ethics policies. Ensure clear guidelines are in place for managing conflicts and power dynamics. Promote accountability. Hold individuals accountable for unethical behavior, whether related to conflicts of interest or misuse of power. Lead by example. Ethical leaders must demonstrate transparency and fairness, setting a tone for the entire organization. Ethical management requires organizations to proactively address these issues, creating a transparent and fair environment. Conclusion: building ethical integrity. Conflicts of interest and power imbalances are inevitable, but they can be managed effectively through ethical leadership and clear policies. By addressing these issues, organizations build trust and transparency. Ethical decision-making becomes the standard. Employee morale improves as fairness is promoted across the organization. In conclusion, ethical management practices play a critical role in maintaining integrity and fostering a work environment where everyone is treated fairly and with respect. Next steps and takeaways. Moving forward, you can regularly assess your organization's ethical policies and ensure conflicts of interest are managed. Foster an inclusive culture where diverse voices are part of the decision-making process. Implement training on ethical management to help employees handle conflicts of interest and power imbalances. By applying these strategies, you'll help create an ethical workplace environment that promotes fairness, transparency, and inclusion.